Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's TSJ. Welcome back to another, I guess this would be a TSJ Talks, and this is going to be what I think are the top 5 best mods for Medieval 2 Total War. Now, a few disclaimers, okay? The first thing is if you follow the Terminator, he just put out a best mods for Total War overall, something like a 40-minute video. This is going to be like a 10 times downgraded version of that. One, because this is just for Medieval 2, and two, because it won't have all the glamour. That's a really great video. I recommend you checking it out. The reason is just because if you've been following my channel for a little while, 3 weeks ago I had my first child, so I'm recording this at night as he sleeps. Hopefully he won't wake up. Gonna have to be quiet. So there's a lot going on. That said, someone did ask for this a few weeks ago, because I do also think I maybe have some, credentials to give my opinion of what the best, Total War mods are. If you follow my channel for a while now, I have an install video playlist with almost 200 videos, just installation videos for Total War games, mostly Medieval 2, but Empire and Napoleon are also right up there as well. So I'll check that out, definitely. So the way that this is going to work, I'll just go through all of them. They're not necessarily, I can say for sure that my number one is the number one, is the one that I think is the best mod. There's some disclaimers with other ones, I would say, that are leading up to that, but I'll kind of get into that as we move on, as we move through them. So hope you do enjoy this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below as well. Okay, so at number 5 we have got Fire and Blood Total War. Now this is of course a Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire overhaul mod. The reason it's number 5 is because, and this isn't just going to be a problem on this list with this mod only, it would probably be my number 1 favorite if it was more stable. It is not a stable mod. The most recent version just came out a few months ago. I think it's, I don't want to say, it might be 2.5 or something like that, 2.6, and it's unfortunate. It's just not a very stable mod. I did a Let's Play on it, and it was maybe 10 episodes, you obviously don't see the crashes, but it crashed maybe twice every recording, which is just kind of a waste of time after a while, especially as busy as I am in school and now in real life, especially with a child. So I just couldn't, it just didn't really make sense. Okay, now that said, it is an epic mod. Okay, you probably are like, okay, like what's in it? So as you can see, it's got Essos, it's got obviously all of Westeros. The map is massive. The battles are incredible. Again, when the mod's not crashing. This was a campaign that I played it as the Targaryens, and you start out with, I think it's 4 dragons. I think it is 3 because it was the conquest, Aegon's conquest, and it's the scale. It really like will reinvigorate your interest in, I mean, hopefully all of these mods will, but especially this if you're into Game of Thrones. It is just such a shame that it is not stable. So like for this playthrough, I was, if you can see the mini-map, I conquered almost all of southern Westeros, and I was gonna, keep on going, but, it just got to be too unstable, and I just wasn't about it. So hopefully the developers, again, I'm not a modder. I can only imagine how difficult it is. So I'm not throwing any shade. I'm just saying, hopefully, eventually, it will become more stable, and then I'll definitely be jumping back into it. Okay, so the second one on my list is Asia Empires. I actually just did an installation video for this not too long ago, and as you can see, it is pretty much all of it. I mean, it is all of Asia. It's not entirely translated yet, which is why I haven't done a Let's Play on it. To my knowledge, it's very, very stable. I'm definitely going to be doing Tay Son, because I'm all about that Vietnamese history. And so this is, I think, if you're looking for an Asia Total War, or Total War centered on Asia, of course, Asia Empires, or Asian dynasties. It goes by several names, at least on the ModDB. is probably the one you'd want to check out. As you can see, yeah, it's not fully translated, so you'll want to keep that in mind if you don't speak, if English is your only language. But that said, to my knowledge, I think that there is an English translation in the works, so that's great, because like I said, I'm definitely be jumping into this, and takes place during the 1600s. Yeah, I just think this is a great overhaul mod. There are not enough Total Wars besides Three Kingdoms that take place in Asia, which is really unfortunate, because I think it would be a slam dunk. Three Kingdoms is already my top three favorite Total Wars, but I think like this sort of stuff really keeps the old games fresh too. So keep this on your radar as well. And like I said, I'm going to be having the links to the installation videos that I made for all these videos down below too. So if you're interested in this, be sure to check it out. It's definitely one to keep on your radar. Okay, so the third on the list is Elder Scrolls Total War. This is higher than Game of Thrones because it is slightly more stable than Game of Thrones to a point. I just did a mini TSJ plays on it. I ultimately did have to stop as well because stability is again an issue. I wouldn't say it's as bad as the game of Fire and Blood, but it's bad enough to where you want to keep that in mind. But all the same, it's kind of right up there with the Game of Thrones one as well. I wish it was more stable, and as you can see from the mini map and me jumping around here in this campaign, it's huge. It's a massive map. There's even I didn't experiment with it very much, but there's a dungeons mechanic as well. And also a crafting. You can work with potions and what have you. It's really, really complex. Okay, this is kind of is a showcase, this mod, I would say, as well as another one on the list that we'll get to just how detailed the modders can be, especially regarding Medieval 2 Total War, I would say, because it's just very down to the most minute details. I never would have thought of that. You have to read about it in the retinue and traits if you want to know how to deal with make your own potions and deal with alchemy and what have you. It was beyond me because I was just in here for the battles and whatnot and diplomacy. But if you're into Elder Scrolls, if you're kind of wanting something to hold you over until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, which will be like forever from now, then this is probably one you want to check out. The thing about the stability, guys, or instability I should say, is that it varies for everyone. So some people will go through a whole campaign and it'll be fine. Some people will have it crash once, some people crash all the time. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're when you're installing these mods. Don't let me and my own personal experiences turn you away from these epic mods. So Elder Scrolls Total War, definitely one to check out as well. Okay, next, the last two on my list are definitely up here, like they are the best in my opinion, ahead of the other three for sure. And this number 2 is Lucian Total War. Now I actually have a Let's Play in the works. It's recorded. I've got about 10 episodes recorded. I just haven't edited them yet, and uploaded them either because I'm still going through the Warhammer one. Anyway, it is a truly incredible mod. It essentially overhauls Medieval 2 to take place, as you can see, in the 18th century. So if you like the 1700s Europe, it's for you, and it goes through the transition from really like pikes and whatnot to gunpowder, and I think it's definitely 10 times over what I just mentioned about Elder Scrolls: A Testament, because if you're thinking of guns and cannons when I use them in vanilla Medieval 2, it's just kind of bland. Don't let that push you away from this mod, because the gunpowder units are just as powerful sounding and looking, and they're just as cool as the ones, in my opinion, as the ones in Empire, Napoleon, or Fall of the Samurai even, dare I say. Um, Diplomacy is awesome. It feels like there's real weight to diplomacy, even though it essentially is the same. It just feels like, it kind of keeps some roots of vanilla Medieval 2, but in terms of diplomacy, you really care about your characters, because this gets to my top two. One of my top two favorite reasons of why this mod is so awesome is that it follows historical accuracy. I mean, as accurate as you can get to a game and AI and what have you. And so you've got like King George the First and what have you, and the Netherlands and Scotland rebelling, and definitely just so impressed with this mod. And another reason why it's so high up on my list is for stability. I haven't had one crash with it in 10 episodes, and they're each about an hour long, and some of them are a little less. But the point is, that's impressive, as if you haven't gotten the picture already. Medieval 2 mods are not known always for their stability. So the fact that this is so stable is just really impressive, given that you're dealing with gunpowder units and artillery, and the overhaul that's there. And of course, looking at the mini map, it's massive. I mean, it goes much farther east. So it's definitely one to check out, guys. If you haven't heard of Lucian Total War, stop this video right now and go check it out, because you definitely it will, as I said, reinvigorate your desire to play Medieval 2. Okay, last but not least on my list is, of course, all of you probably guessed it, Divide and Conquer. Third Age Total War is probably the most famous, I would argue, mod for a Total War ever, and the sub-mods that have developed from it, Mass MOS and whatnot, have been very impressive. But of course the best, which is really, I don't even think I'd call it a sub-mod now, for the Third Age, is of course Divide and Conquer. It is stable, it is grand, it is fun. You can play it for hours, not having to worry about any sort of crash. And if you're into Middle Earth and Tolkien's lore, that world that he created, this is for you. I just did a Let's Play on it for Gondor, where I actually finally defeated Mordor. It was tough, but so much fun. I mean, I can't praise this mod enough. Just so happy that it's not a, again, no offense to the Fire and Blood or the Elder Scrolls, but that it's not that level of instability where you have another fantasy world where you just love so much, whether it's through books or television or what have you, and you can actually build the world yourself in terms of making the decisions and going to war with who you want, and not have to worry about instability, like, oh god, I gotta wait for another update, which they are still updating this. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more I can really say about this mod that isn't already known. I definitely don't want to come off like rambling, but it's epic. It's definitely how I wish. It's like the closest thing I would say. I mean, there's a Warhammer Medieval 2 mod, but if those who want like a Lord of the Rings Warhammer mod, this suffices, I would say, if I'm being completely honest. Because if you're looking for fantasy for a Total War and you don't have Warhammer, stick to this 100%. Alright guys, so those are my top 5 favorite mods for Medieval 2, the ones that I would recommend for you, especially those last two are definitely the best, like top S tier for Medieval 2 that are out there right now. I do have a few honorable mentions. Some of you might have been wondering why I didn't mention Stainless Steel. One is because it is effectively, I mean, it's not vanilla, but it takes place kind of during the same time, medieval era. And for me personally, it's always been very, very unstable. That said, again, as I mentioned before, I've seen people who go through full campaigns, and again, it's very impressive. Adds tons of factions, tons of new units, and the map is once again massive. And I'm pretty sure the AI is been tweaked with as well. So that said, it definitely deserves an honorable mention on this list. The last honorable mention, guys, that I'll make is the Rise of the Three Kingdoms. It was first released 10 years ago, and it is still getting updates. And it is, of course, like the Three Kingdoms version of Medieval 2. It's another really great Asia mod that is also, I will add, extremely stable. Keep that in mind as well if you're looking for, again, kind of like an Asia mod. This obviously centers around China, again, during the Three Kingdoms era. So, but and I haven't played more than a few hours of it tops after I did an installation video a long time ago. But again, I think it deserves a place on this list because the developers have been so committed, like the Divide and Conquer ones, to keep it stable. But I think the other ones on the list, to me personally, would be if they were just a little more stable, still would top this one as well. But all the same, definitely deserves an honorable mention. And that is it, guys. So I'm really sorry this mod kind of comes off, like I said, it's not of the quality of the Terminator, but I wanted to kind of make a video about the mods that I feel are the best for Medieval 2. I will be making a video for the best Asia-centered Total War mods for Medieval 2. So keep that in mind as well. I have a list of them, and you'll actually be surprised how many mods. Maybe I was kind of surprised when I started taking tally of them and figuring out all the installation videos. I'm like, wow, there are a lot of mods for Medieval 2 that center around Asia, which is great. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I will get to that one in time. And again, I apologize for kind of the informality of the video, just with in real life stuff, but I did want to make it for you. So let me know in the comments what you think of the video and the mods. Have you played them? Which is your favorite that you played that I listed below? Or if you just have any parenting tips, please let me know. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. Stay super, and I'll see you all next time.